Situated in the Nevis Valley, just 30 minutes from the central Otago town of Cromwell, the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200 runs on the highest public road in New Zealand. It's a barren, stunning location to host one of New Zealand's premier hill climb events. We chatted to Lower Nevis locals, Anne and Ken, about the history of Lower Nevis.
When they needed supplies to come in or passengers wanted to come in, they came in a wagon like that, and as the hill was very, very steep, they had a large rock behind it like that, and that was their brake in those days. They used to hold motorbike racing, and they even had the ones with side carts and ordinary bikes, and everybody used to ride around it.
It all starts here. Look right and all you can see is a challenge ahead, the highest public road in New Zealand. You're starting the fastest show on gravel. Flat out from the start, up to 5th gear, before a sweeping right-hand corner to the narrow part of the track, the bridge. But don't get this wrong, there is no room for error. Not much further up is one of the most trickiest corners, a right-left combination with a barrier on the exit of the left for a very good reason. It's a long way down. From here, it's about the fast acceleration up the hill to the first hairpin, the Repco hairpin. The Repco hairpin is a combination of a right-left corner, which are the tightest corners on the track, but also a very soft sandy surface. After a fast open right-hand corner, it's onto the Hyundai hairpin, which is a very long deceptive left, with a very late apex and tightening before into an even faster right-hand corner before proceeding up to the Golden Grandstand. Here we're flat out to the last corner of the stretch of road, 3.5 kilometres of gravel goodness. But the last corner is one of the trickiest, with exposed bedrock and a soft outer banking to catch out the unwary. A clean exit is absolutely vital here as you accelerate flat over the small jump and the finish.
Welcome to the Ben Nevis Station for the second running of the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. Here we are, Central Otago region in the South Island of New Zealand. Stunning piece of road, the highest public road in New Zealand. We're going to test some of the best machinery, some of the best cars, and some of the best drivers in rallying in this part of the world. Enjoy the action. First on the road, Andrew Wright on his KTM. 3 two-wheelers lined up for this year. James Dixon on his Honda CRF 450R joined the field and was crowd favourite with his spectacular skills on the finish line. But it was Andrew Rudd who led the class after day one. Back for 2022, the cross cars returned with their biggest field seen on New Zealand soil. An amazing 16 entrants, including the next generation of rally stars.
I mean, it's great to have 2 second-generation families here. There's of course a few others, the Quantocks as well, but having grown up with Harry and obviously Dad and John competing, it's so cool to see the second generation coming through, plenty of us drivers, getting out there having some fun, especially in these cross carts, which are absolutely awesome.
He'd done about 5 minutes on one of those, was given the opportunity. We're very grateful from Short & Haggerty and his sponsors to have a wee drive, and he's just absolutely loved it. He's quite a good grass carter, and I think just the adaptation from that to that, he's improved every run and he's loving every minute of it, so I'm quite a proud dad, to be honest.
Joining the field was another second generation upcoming star, Ben McLaren, son of Don McLaren. Included in the entries was Padden Racing Group's very own Ben Fretwell. A technician at Padden's race team, he had his work cut out for him repairing mechanical gremlins. In Class 9 quads, drama struck early for expected podium contender Ian Fitch. A blown engine on run 2 put him out for the day and out for the weekend. This left Ian Newman to head the class on his screaming super quad. With Mark Willis throwing himself around on his way to second for the day. Another crowd favourite, headlined classic four-wheel drive, the ex-Possum-born Group A Subaru Impreza. Stuart, let's talk about this Subaru of yours. A lot of history, owned by the late great Possum Bourne, run through the 1990s. You've purchased it. It's worth a fair chunk of change, but good thing is you're biffing it around this track.
Yeah, no, we're having a ball, eh? It is a serious bit of kit. And Possum loved this car. It was his favourite car to drive. And it's great that we can bring it here and throw it around, and just as he would do it himself.
Alongside Weber's tribute, Nigel Eade lined up with another famous livery in Class 8.
Well, everyone does a Possum Bourne or a Colin McRae or something like that, and I quite liked Per Eklund, and he's got a wee bit of a motto saying that one must never give up. So that sort of spurred me on to do something about it.
Second to Weber in class was Willie Hawes. In classic two-wheel drive, three very iconic cars stood out. The Mitsubishi Lancer EX of Deborah Kibble, John Silcock's Group B Mazda RX-7, arguably the best-sounding car in the field. And Jeff Judd in the singing Mark II Escort, who led the field.
Yeah, well, these old classics are so much fun to drive, and being at an iconic event like this, even though it's new, I mean, this road, I mean, how many people get to compete on something like this?
0 to 1600 two-wheel drive was one of the largest fields. Thomas Good held third in his immaculate Mark I Escort. Young star Thomas Paul was a great second. And class frontrunner Ian Warren led the field after day one. In the open two-wheel drives, Wayne Podiums' wild Mark II Escort struck gearbox issues and would retire after the day. Leaving Chris Hay to focus on taming the hill. Club four-wheel drive was a battle of north versus south, with just over a second between Anthony Tito and local Alistair Campbell, who led the field. Rally four-wheel drive was packed with New Zealand history, Jeff Ward debuting a new livery on the ex-Richard Mason championship winning car. A successful car in New Zealand rallying history, while Duncan McCrosty showcased the ex-Andrew Hawkswood championship winning Mazda. Classes settled, it was time to get the top 10 on course and settle where the front runners would sit by the end of the day, including crosscar and unlimited four-wheel drive. Talking you through the action is the voice of rallying, Blair Bartels.
Yeah, thanks, Budgie. What a great day it's been to open up the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200 for 2022, as we see Ari Pettigrew firing through the Ripco hairpin in the little crosscar. It's been a great drive from him today. He was one of the stars of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship in 2021, winning the open two-wheel drive class, and he's got a massive season ahead of him, stepping up into the four-wheel drives. But at the moment, he's got this massive hill to tackle in the tiny little crosscar, and he's doing a great job of it. Look at him through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin, nice and tidy, so smooth, getting that power down. Not many horsepower in the little crosscar. It's lightweight. It's all about carrying speed, which he's done beautifully through that Ben Nevis Station hairpin. And he comes up towards the flying finish, the new flying finish for 2022 with a beautiful jump. And that's a 2:20.6 for Ari Pettigrew. Great time. All right, directly behind him, and a man who has been the class of the cross cars, but it's been a big battle all day. This is Matt Penrose, the defending champion, national champion in cross cars. Oh, and he picks up a heap of the apex through the Repco hairpin, right up over the berm on the inside. You see that suspension working so hard, there's no guards or anything, so you can see just how hard the suspension's working. Again, he's using all of the inside of the corner there, Matt Penrose. Quite a tight line through the tightening left-hander there, but nicely done. Into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Smooth on the exit, gets that power down. A big run up the hill to this final corner, the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. He throws it in. Oh, he's right up the bank on the inside too. Matt Penrose using all the road. What will the time be? Up to the finish, and it's a 2-minute 19.2. Ray Casey, the first of the rally cars we see in the top 10 here at the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200. Nicely through the Repco corner there. So this car running with the restrictor in. So not making huge horsepower. It's certainly a bit of a challenge when you're a big steep hill climb like this event. Of course, this is the ex-Andy Martin car that finished second in the Rally Challenge in 2021. Now in the hands of Ray Casey. Nicely through the left-hander there and up towards the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Ray's still learning this car, but he's a quick learner. And he fires up towards the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Gives it the big Scandinavian flick, throws it in. Little bit sideways on the exit, but it looks like a pretty good run here for Ray Casey. We'll see what the time is up over that flying finish, and it's a 2:24.0. Next on course, we see the Mitsubishi Evo 6 of Steve Wellington. Great to see Steve and brother Mike both out in their Mitsubishi Evos, running in the unlimited class with no turbo restrictors. Steve there just a little bit wide out of the left-hander following the Repco hairpin, but getting plenty of that power down onto the road. A little bit wide out of the right-hander there, so he's certainly giving it everything. Of course, we combine our best run from today, and a lot of them will be on the final third run, up through the Hyundai hairpin, and the final time from tomorrow, which we'll also bring to you live. But Steve Wellington, the ex-Emma Gilmore Mitsubishi Evo 6. Plenty of power under the right foot. He's right out wide through the Ben Nevis Station hairpin, trying to get as much speed as he can up over the flying finish. And it's a 2:23.0, so he's faster than Ray Casey. So this is Dave Quantock in the Skoda AP4. Nicely through the Repco hairpin there. You see the suspension moving up and down. And again, he's another one a little bit wide through that left-hander. The AP4 car, you see the suspension travel. Big advantage in getting that power and the braking applied to the road. This car finished third at the inaugural event in 2020 with Dave's son Job at the wheel. This time it's Dave at the wheel. Not such big aero devices on the car, but still plenty of grunt out of the little 1800cc engine. Dave Quantock storms up towards the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Broken axle in the first run this morning, so he's a little bit behind everyone else, just in terms of getting runs on the board. But for this one for Dave Quantock is a 2:24.0, so equal with Ray Casey. This is the man they call Haggis, Sean Haggerty, proud Scotsman, and an absolute hard charger in his GC8 Impreza. Oh, a bit sideways out of the left-hander there. He's absolutely trying his hardest. Got the restrictor out and the turbo beast turned up. He's using all of the inside of the right-hander there. Big commitment into that tightening left-hander. He's never been shy of throwing this car around. Beautifully through that Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Spectacular lines from Sean Haggerty. He roars his way up to the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Nicely through there. We'll see what the time is for Sean Haggerty. We're sure there'll be plenty of airtime that goes with this one. And it's a 2:22.5. That's a huge time from Sean Haggerty. Coming onto the screen now, we see Mike Wellington. We've already seen Brother Steve. This is the ex-Hayden Padden Mitsubishi Evo 8. Had some famous names in it. Won the championship at the hands of David Holder. Also campaigned by the likes of Brian Stokes. Nathan Quinn's had a steer in this one, the Australian. But Mike Wellington looking nice through the Repco hairpin there and back out the left-hander. Again, another one with the restrictor out. Lots of horsepower. It's a big hill. This is New Zealand's highest public road, and we're rallying on it. What a spectacular place to be doing that as Mike Wellington bounces his way around the tightening left-hander up into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Nice and tidy on the exit there. It's a good exit. He's been quick all day. He had a gearbox problem in the first run, but other than that, he hasn't really put a foot wrong. Mike Wellington round that Ben Nevis hairpin, just bounces off the berm, carrying as much speed as he can. Up over the flying finish. And it's a 2:21.8 for Mike Wellington. All right, next up, Mike Tall. Been suffering a little bit with ECU problems all day. The altitude causing the car to misfire towards the top. Despite that, he's been absolutely on the pace. This car is quite radical. Mitsubishi Mirage with Evo running gear transferred into it. Plenty of power when he chooses to turn the switch up. And of course, wings and all sorts of things to help this car get up the hill as quick as it can. And Mike Tall is absolutely driving it superbly. Nicely through the tightening left-hander, up to the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. What's his exit like? It's smooth as. Look at the way that car accelerates. So much grunt. Up towards that Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Out of there. So we'll see what the time does for Mike Tall. A 2:23.5. Expect more from him tomorrow if they can sort that misfire. Neil Webb, the next car, another one of the Mitsubishi Mirages with the Evo running gear. Absolute rocket ship, this thing, lightweight. Look at the way he just throws it into the Repco hairpin. And nice and tidy on the way out of the left-hander too. Didn't have to get out of the throttle, which we've seen many of the other drivers do. Neil Webb just picks up the inside of the right-hander there. It just bounces the car around a bit. It doesn't have the suspension that we see in the AP4 cars. Even the cross cars. And that Hyundai New Zealand hairpin, he's nice out of there. He's using all the exit of the road, but he's got that power down. And look at that, a big Scandinavian flick up into the Ben Nevis Station hairpin, up past the VIP tent, a little bit sideways on the exit, not quite what he would have been right after, but 2:22.2 represents a pretty good time from Neil Webb. And what a week it's been for this guy. Of course, Thursday's announcement of the WRC2 program, returning to the top level with a New Zealand team. Awesome news for Hayden Padden. And just check out the way he grabs this Hyundai i20 AP4, the car they call Ed. He just throws it through the Repco hairpin. Look at this. Absolute display of forceful driving from Hayden Padden. Oh, it just touches the berm on the outside of the right-hander there. He throws it in through the tightening left-hander. Absolute 100% commitment here from Hayden Padden. This is going to be a huge time. He's set the pace all day. Hayden now up to that Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Oh, he bounces it off the soft stuff on the outside. Not quite as tight as he would have liked, but he gets the power down. What will the time be? It's well and truly fastest at a 2:08.2. So Padden the fastest, Then Matt Penrose and Ari Pettigrew, second and third in the cross cars. Mike Wellington and Neil Webb round out the top 5, and Budgie's got the top 3 with him.
Hayden, cracking day here at Ben Nevis Station. The weather's turned it on, people are enjoying themselves, and a great day's rallying. How did you see it?
Yeah, awesome day. Obviously, the weather's been good and a bit of wind to pick up and move the dust this afternoon. So, hey, it's a really cool piece of road. It's actually, even though it's reasonably short, it's actually challenging. It's changing every run, and trying to get the right rhythm and pick the right lines is quite tricky. So, still a lot left in it today, and hopefully we can try and exploit that tomorrow.
Matt, congratulations, mate. Solid day, I think top 3, all 3 runs. Congratulations. How did it feel?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it felt pretty good. Just sort of trying to work my way into it. First time on the road, so yeah, happy with how it's gone.
How do you describe this place? I mean, it's pretty unique. The climb, it's a significant climb, the highest piece of public road in New Zealand. Real test for you guys.
Yeah, it is, and it is a tricky piece of road, but it is really cool when you get it right, and it's a pretty awesome spot to be, doing a hill climb in. So yeah, cool.
Mate, each run you seem to be getting quicker and quicker, as do the main competitors. Obviously, is that just as you get more familiar with the road, or are you sort of fine-tuning things as you go as well?
Yeah, I've got a shocking memory, so the third run I seem to have the road down packed. So yeah, and some fresh tyres on for that last one helped as well. So yeah, putting everything together really makes it come together in the end.
Yeah, so the Hyundai Kona EV rally car, we were obviously hoping and planning for it to have a pivotal role at the Nevis 1200 hill climb this year, but unfortunately, due to worldwide freight problems, some of the key development parts we've been waiting on haven't arrived in time. So it is a shame, but in saying that, this car will play a key part in the event going forward. You know, this car is sort of helping us showcase technology and the future of the sport, and it's got a natural sort of progression with the Nevis event, especially being in that Nevis Valley and just how iconic and scenic it is, and obviously trying to look after the environment. So we look forward to this car coming back in 24, and we've now set a benchmark with it with the combustion car in terms of the time, and see if this thing can chase it down. But yeah, we've got some exciting developments ongoing with the EV Kona, and we look forward to getting it out there again soon. We'll see it on some testing and events again very soon. So yeah, it's just a matter of playing the waiting game and being a little bit patient in the meantime.
We're back for day 2 as competitors prepare for their final 3 runs up the Nevis Road. We caught up with Deborah Kibble to assess her thoughts on the events and to find out more on her iconic number plate.
Oh, it's fantastic. The road has got different challenges from the very start to the very end. There's so many different parts of the road that you can get completely wrong or very, attack it really, really well. Personalised number plates were quite cheap back then, so we managed to grab Tommy. Nobody had put their name on it, so as a Tommy tribute. And it's been on a few vehicles now, including a scooter and a motorbike and just various machinery, but also building a GC8 Subaru, and that's Tommy 3. So I've got the set, I think.
Day 2 and the pressure was rising as your combined times from day 1 and the final run of day 2 combined to give you your overall result. Gilly Fisher was unfortunate to be caught out by the testing road. On 2 wheels, James Dixon would hold top spot temporarily, while yesterday's leader Andrew Rudd had qualified for the top 15 shootout, so Dixon would have to wait to hear results. Class 10 cross cars, frontrunners Ari Pettigrew and Matt Penrose were also in the top 15, but the battle of the second generations was all on. A slight mistake for Harry Judd put him on the back foot, but Silcock still needed only to stay within 1.3 seconds to beat Judd. Despite this, Harry Silcock was on a flyer, driving smooth and consistent to take over 8 seconds off his day 1 time. In the quads, Ian Newman's Super Quad proved too powerful for Mark Willis, but we look forward to the return of Ian Fitch in 2024 to challenge our podium. Stu Weber was wild, catching the limping Dave Ollis on his way to first in Class 4-wheel drive. He'll be followed by Corey McCaskill, with his combined times beating Russell Burgess by only 0.8 of a second. Class 7, classic 2-wheel drive, was a big gap to winner Jeff Judd. Judd just 3 seconds off the hill climb special of Chris Hay overall. John Silcock would lead with second place, roles reversed in the generational challenge. 0 to 1600 two-wheel drive would remain status quo, with Ian Warren taking the class win, and like Judd, only 4 seconds off Chris Hayes' pace. Hay would come home to top the two-wheel drive rally car and win the unlimited class. Second and third would go right to the last run, with Gray taking second by just 0.8 of a second off Steve Taylor. Terry Taylor taking a good win over another local, Alistair Campbell, in his Impreza. Class placings not settled in crosscar, rally, four-wheel drive and unlimited. Let's get into the action of our top 15 shootout and see who stands on top.
First on the course, this is Andrew Rudd, fastest of the motorcycle competitors, and how good is it to see those on 2 and 4 wheels from the bike fraternity here. And look at the way that he just charges into the Repco hairpin, sliding that bike, gets the foot out, just stabilises as he works his way up the hill. Gets that pad down, uses all the road. He's a braver man than me. Again, just leans that foot out through the right-hander towards this tightening left. Cuts in nicely there, does Andrew Rudd. Gets a good run up to the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Of course, set a 2:26.2 in his first run yesterday. So we'll see what he can do as he just hangs that front wheel in the air. Plenty of grip from the rear end on the Gas MC 450. Through the Ben Nevis hairpin, puts the power down. He's up to the line. Oh, huge air time, and that's a 2:27.7, so slightly slower than yesterday. Gives him an accumulative time of 4:53.9. Next up, we see Jeff Ward. This is the ex-Richard Mason Subaru Impreza. I think it's the most successful cars in the history of the New Zealand Rally Championship. This one, 3 championship wins. New car to Jeff. It'd be great to see him competing in this in the 2022 season, as he's nice and tidy through the Repco hairpin, possibly a little bit too much speed scrubbing off, but he's just learning this car with every mile. Tucks it in nicely through that right-hander. Working his way up the hill, you see the C-Mod cross-car livery there. Jeff, the importer of these, and we'll see a couple of them later on in the top 15. Saw some very impressive times from the likes of Matt Penrose and Ari Pettigrew yesterday, but for the moment, this is Jeff Ward up to that Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Nicely through there. He works his way up towards the flying finish. Was a 2:26.6 yesterday. Oh, big improvement, a 2:22.5. Puts him ahead of Andrew Rudd with a 4:49.1. Next up is our Australian representative, albeit Dunedin-based these days, John Spencer. Oh, just uses all the road leading into the Repco hairpin there. Nice and tidy. The entry was a bit scrappy, but he tidied it up and got it nicely out of the hairpin there. Gets that power down. Look at that power. Works his way through the right-hander nicely there. Through the tightening left. Little bit of understeer there from Spencer, but he's doing a good tidy job. He was a 2:25.9 yesterday. So big battle between him and Jeff Ward as he fires up towards the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Nicely through that final corner. Up towards the flying finish. See how much airtime there is for John Spencer. Plenty of it, and that's a 2:22.2, so that puts him to the top, a 4:48.1. Next up, another one of these little cross cars. This is a young fella with a big future, Jack Winter. Works his way up towards the Repco hairpin. Oh, a little bit understeery through there. Covers it nicely. Hugs the apex. He's trying to get that power down. Just a little motorcycle engine, so the momentum is absolutely key. Just listen to the way they scream up the hill. Through that tightening left-hander. Bounces his way through the apex into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Nice out of there. Good smooth exit for that final run up to the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Jack Winter, fastest time yesterday over 2:25.6. So he's right in amongst that battle. What's it going to be today? It looks pretty quick. What's it going to be? Oh, 2:21. That's a huge improvement for Jack Winter. Takes him to the top on a 4:46.6. And this man will be chasing him hard. This is Job Quantock, was only 0.3 of a second quicker than Winter, so he's got to put in a faultless performance here. Again, a little bit understeery through the Repco hairpin. Similar mistake from both drivers. But looks to have recovered all right from it. Seems to be carrying some good speed up the hill, Job Quantock. He was third outright in the Skoda Fabia at the inaugural running of this event in 2020. Nicely through that tightening left-hander. Sets him up beautifully into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Nice exit for Job Quantock. As he chases down Jack Winter, who's absolutely laid a spectacular time down as a benchmark. Beautifully through the Ben Nevis Station hairpin for Job Quantock and up to the flying finish. A nice jump and a 2:20.9, so he gets him for the weekend by 0.4 of a second. Well done, Job Quantock. Next up, we see Ray Casey, another one of the rally cars, the ex-Andy Martin Subaru Impreza. Ray did a really good job to be just inside the top 10 yesterday. And you can see there, nice and tidy through the Repco hairpin. Not doing anything too spectacular, but just setting some good times all weekends as he gets used to this new car for him. Nicely through the right-hander. We'll see how he attacks this tightening left. Out wide, cuts back in. Nicely done there from Ray Casey into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Yes, good smooth exit. Gets that power down. This is looking like a good run from Ray Casey, so we'll see what the time looks like. Did a 2:24.0 in that top 10 run yesterday. Oh, a little bit sideways out of the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Might be a couple of tenths in that. Ray Casey will stop the clocks at a 2:24.2, so he goes a little bit slower. So Job Quantock still top of the pops. And now we see his father Dave in the Skoda AP4 car. Also did a 2:24.0 yesterday. He was equal with Ray Casey. He'll be looking for a bit more today. We've seen him turn the wick up a bit. We'll certainly get some more speed out of the Skoda in the practice runs earlier this morning. Not a bad looking run here from Quantock so far. Oh, nicely. Oh, just unsettles a little bit through the right-hander. They've got good suspension travel, these AP4 cars, but even that can unsettle them. Into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin now. What can he do? Nicely out of there, gets that power down. Keep pushing up the hill towards that Ben Nevis Station hairpin. It doesn't look it, it's quite the climb. It's a big, steep hill, this one. Of course, New Zealand's highest public road. Nicely out of the Ben Nevis Station hairpin there for Dave Quantock, using all the road. What's he going to do? Well, it's a 2:18.9. That's a massive time. Hats off to Dave Quantock. Gives him an accumulative time of 4:42.9. Chasing that down will be Mike Tall. He did a 2:23.5 yesterday, so he's got half a second in hand over Quantock. Crew now got on top of the ECU problems that was causing the car to misfire towards the top, and he's nicely out of the left-hander following the Repco hairpin. Mike Tall with the Evo-powered Mitsubishi Mirage, again using all the road there, getting the power down. This car running in unlimited trim, no turbo restrictor, bouncing through the apex there. This is looking like a really strong run for Mike Tall, and it's going to have to be because that time of Dave Quantock's was something else. 2:18.9. So Mike Tall into the final corner. Again, a beautiful line through that Ben Nevis Station hairpin. A few guys really starting to get their heads around that one now. Up over the flying finish, and a 2:19.0, so slightly slower than Quantock on the day, but quick enough at 4:42.5 to jump to the lead. This is Steve Wellington now in the Mitsubishi Evo 6. This ex-Emma Gilmore car. Steve's run for a fair while now. Again, running in the unlimited, unrestricted trim. Nicely through the Repco hairpin. We saw him a little bit wide through that left-hander yesterday, but no such issues today. Tidying that run up. He did a 2:23 yesterday, so he is ahead of those we've seen so far. Nice and wide, and cuts back in through that tightening left-hander. Almost like a circuit racing line. Up through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Just a little bit of understeer on the exit there. That'll just cost him maybe a tenth or two getting the power down. That big climb up to the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. What can he do there? Oh, he's out wide. He's using that bank like a berm, trying to get all the power down. Steve Wellington at 2:23 yesterday. It's a 2:21.9 today. So that will drop him down a couple of spots. Pretty spectacular runs from Quantock and Tall he'll fall in behind. So this is Sean Haggerty now. The man they call Haggis, the Mad Scotsman. Had a bit of an issue this morning in one of the practice runs. Ended up tearing a wheel off the Subaru, but they've got it all back up and going, and he's back in for the top 10 or top 15 shootout here this afternoon to show us what he can do. And it's looking pretty good so far. Fairly tidy for Sean Haggerty. He's not normally one known to leave anything on the table, but he certainly seems to be carrying some speed through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. Nice exit. Gets that power down. All important. He fires up. Bit of a Scandinavian flick through the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Uses it just like a motocross berm on the exit there for Sean Haggerty. What time will he put down? To 2:21.2, so again, can't topple Mike Tall. Great run, Mike Tall. So now we see Neil Webb, another one of the Mitsubishi Mirages. Can he beat his Mitsubishi Mirage co-competitor? It's nice through the Repco hairpin there, Neil Webb. Oh, a little bit wide through the left-hander. We saw a few do that, and that's a crucial mistake as you start to wind your way up this steep part of the hill through the series of switchbacks to right-hander. So how much time will that cost Neil Webb? Nicely through that left-hander, tightens up. Through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin, that's a good clean exit. That's more like what Neil Webb will be after. Did a 2:22.2 in Saturday's top 10 shootout. What can he do in the top 50? Oh, very loose out of the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Neil Webb, a little bit ragged, big jump over the finish line, and a little bit slow with a 2:22.4. So again, that time of Mike Tall's stands up. So now we see Mike Wellington. This is the ex-Hayden Padden Mitsubishi Evo 8. Also driven by the likes of Brian Stokes, David Holder, Australian visitor Nathan Quinn. But Mike's been doing the cards. Oh, and that's a big mistake through the left-hander after the Repco hairpin. Just killed all the momentum. He'll be winding that car up. Plenty of power with the restrictor taken out of the Evo 8. But that's a costly mistake. He was as quick as pretty well anyone in the rally cars yesterday. So could this be a crucial mistake for Mike Wellington? He's got a little bit of time up his sleeve, a 2:21.8 yesterday, but he's certainly going to need to improve on that to knock the time of Tall off. Into the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Again, using all the roads, so he's certainly not leaving anything out there. There's no lack of commitment here from Mike Wellington. And the time's a 2:19.0, so that puts him to the top, equal time with Tall for this second day. Now we're into the cross cars, and what a battle this has been all day between Ari Pettigrew and Matt Penrose. This is Pettigrew. Oh, and he's massively committed into the Repco hairpin. This looks inch perfect through those first couple of corners from Ari Pettigrew. He's a young man with a huge future in the sport. Nicely through that right-hander, just a touch of understeer, which he countered with the throttle. Oh, beautiful line through that tightening left-hander. This is looking like a spectacular run from Ari Pettigrew. Look at the way he just dances the car into the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin. And just listen to that crosscar scream up the hill. Ari Pettigrew, this looks like this is going to be a magic time. Oh, just uses all the road on the exit of the Ben Nevis Station hairpin up towards the flying finish. Ari Pettigrew, what's he got? That's a 2:16.0. Wow, what a time for Ari Pettigrew. That will take some beating. The equation for Matt Penrose, he's got a 1.4 second lead, so he's going to need to do a 2:17.4 to stay ahead of Pettigrew for what could potentially be a spot on the podium. And look at him through the Repco hairpin. He knows that he's got to give this run absolutely everything. A little bit wild on the exit of the left-hander there, Matt Penrose, the defending New Zealand champion in the crosscars. Oh, a bit of understeer through that right-hander. He's obviously giving this everything he's got. Nicely through that tightening left-hander. What can he do through the Hyundai New Zealand hairpin? It looks pretty good. It gets the thumbs up from us in the comm box. Again, he screams up to the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. Nice clean exit. Doesn't quite use as much road as Pettigrew on the exit, so we'll see what that does to the time. And it's a 2:17.0, so he moves into the lead by just 0.4 of a second with just Hayden Padden to run. And look at the way that he's just throwing this car around. You can see it. Hayden Padden, he's certainly not taking anything for granted. He's got a good lead coming into today of 11 seconds. But he's not resting on that. Look at the way he throws the Hyundai i20 AP4 into the Repco hairpin, the car they call Ed, because of the way that Edmund Hillary climbed mountains. Well, let me tell you, this thing climbs mountains pretty well as well. Look at that. Just total commitment through the right-hander. What's he going to do through the left? Oh, using all the road on the entry. Spectacular car placement here from Hayden Padden. Uses all of those 700-plus horsepower. Absolutely cranks the car towards the top. And it looks like he is going to park this thing at the top of the podium, a little bit wide out of the Ben Nevis Station hairpin. It's been a corner that he's struggled with all weekend, up to the flying finish. And ladies and gentlemen, a 2 minutes 6.1 for Hayden Padden. What a spectacular time that is. So Hayden Padden, spectacular combined time of 4 minutes 14.3, heads home. Matt Penrose, Ari Pettigrew, Mike Wellington and Mike Toole.
Hayden, congratulations, mate. First overall at the Ben Nevis Station Golden 1200 and a 2:06 in your final run. Must be pretty pleased.
Yeah, 06 was a target, so happy to get that one. And actually felt pretty clean in that last one, trying to be smooth and really a lot of fun. And actually this format of that, only mattering on the last run today actually puts a bit of pressure on because, the road's getting a bit rough and a lot of things can happen. So you still have to be clean and try to be fast. And really happy how the weekend's gone and great to see great weather. Everyone's enjoyed it. So a great success for an event that was obviously a bit difficult to put on.
So the first of our cross-car competitors, congratulations, mates. I think third fastest overall on that run, but good enough for second in the across the 2 days. You must be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, really happy with that. It's obviously a lot of pressure coming to the last run, but just wanted to make sure I got a good solid run in without any big mistakes, so happy with that.
We'll bring in Ari Pettigrew, third place overall, second in the cross-cars, and I think the fastest individual time in a cross-car with your last run, you got into the 2:16s, mate. Well done, but not quite enough to edge Matt.
Yeah, it was a good run in that last one. I put everything down on the table, so yeah, there's nothing left in it for that one, that's for sure.
One's going to blow that way anyway. You coming?
Hey!